President-elect Joe Biden's deputy chief of staff touting her support for mandatory gun buybacks and bans when she worked for Beto O'Rourke. And it's making gun owners worried that a Biden administration is going to limit Second Amendment rights. Joining me now to react, national spokesperson for Gun Owners of America, Antonia Okafor-Cover. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
I think the first person that would say he's going to limit Second Amendment rights is Joe Biden himself, because he's calling for an optional gun buyback. Either you sell your guns back or you have to register them with the ATF. Your reaction to that plan?
Yeah, well, that's his option for us, right? Is that we as the American people have to either choose gun control or more gun control, which is in his case to have us either sell our firearms to the government, which, you know, they say buy back, but they never bought it in the first place. Or the other option is to register our firearms with the ATF, which is an unconstitutional regulatory body that shouldn't have that dictate in the first place. So essentially all we're seeing is that we're going to see an expansion of the National Firearms Act, or we're going to also see a gun tax, which is estimated to be about $34 billion under having to choose the latter, which is registering our firearms with the ATF.
Yeah, you know, something else that could be coming down the pipeline is universal background checks. Kamala Harris said that she wanted to get that done. If Congress didn't pass that in the first 100 days with her in office, she would seek executive action. How do you feel about universal background checks?
Well, at Gun Owners of America, we absolutely abhor, of course, definitely universal background checks, but even background checks has been shown over the years not to be effective in what it claims to be preventing, which is saying that, you know, criminals are not going to go through the process, which they're not. They're going to break the law. And so we want to empower the law-abiding citizen, which is most Americans. We have over 400 million guns out there now. We have 5 million new gun owners just this year alone. So it's a very obvious mandate that the American people want to protect their own right to protect themselves and those that they care about, and they're not going to wait for the government to do so.
Yeah, you know, it is so interesting that we're having this conversation now, because gun sales, like you said, have surged throughout the year during the protests and then again right before the election. So what does that say about how the American people really feel about gun ownership if sales have skyrocketed, have increased to levels that we've never seen before?
Absolutely. Not only that, you know, the Gallup poll actually showed since 2016 that sentiments for gun rights have actually increased across the board, whether you're a Democrat, Republican, Libertarian. I personally have Democrat family members that were looking for firearms this year, because essentially it comes down to life and death. It comes down to something that is enshrined in the Constitution for a reason. It's a God-given right given to us by our Creator, not by government, and the government's only there to protect that right, period.
Yeah, and you know, I think that gun control is one of those things that you either so passionately support or you're against. And you know, there are those folks who say that it's 2020, the Second Amendment didn't apply to the high power weapons that we have today. So what do you say to those people? Because I'm sure you get that argument all the time.
Yes, we definitely I get the argument all the time of, well, the Second Amendment's for muskets, or, you know, whatever invention they had at the time. You know, our forefathers had the foresight to be able to see that regardless of the inventions and innovations of technology would have in the future, that we have a right to defend ourselves, to keep and bear arms. It's very clear in the Second Amendment, keep and bear arms means all arms, and it will be whatever invention we have in the future or in the past. It doesn't matter. It comes down to us protecting that right, and that's all that matters.
Well, this is certainly a hot button issue, and you are getting your message out there. Antonia Okafor-Cover, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.